Good evening, this is the agenda for this Sunday evening. I am your host, Jemima Beerkes. In studio this evening, we have Jan van Wyk. He is from the United People's Movement, a former parliamentarian for the affiliation between the UPM and the Popular Democratic Movement, PDM. He is here to tell us about the court case that is just concluded this week between the two parties and the way forward for UPM. Thank you for joining us, Mr. van Wyk.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers. And thank you for having me.
Mr. van Wyk, in 2019, the UPM joined hands with the Popular Democratic Movement, the PDM. Can you please explain to us, was it an affiliation or did you merge with the PDM?
Thank you for the question. On the 28th of August 2019, we signed an alliance agreement. What actually happened was that we were saying that we agreed that the two parties will work together during the 2019 presidential elections, National Assembly elections, and also for the 2020 regional elections. That was the agreement. So this was an alliance. In terms of the Electoral Act, Section 144, two or more registered political parties can form an alliance. It also clearly stipulated that in such a case, the parties involved remains separate entities.
Yes.
And yes, we signed the alliance agreement and we went into the 2019 campaign that actually went quite well. Mm-hmm. And we get into parliament on 20th March 2020 and we worked in parliament together.
So you did not merge.
No,
you remained independent.
Yes.
Political parties.
Yes.
So where did the money, the money for the UPM, where did it go to? In which account?
I think that is actually where we made a mistake. We agreed that, and we have trusted the Popular Democratic Movement in such a way that we said, no, it's fine. The money for the seats that we occupy can first come to you and then you just pay it over to the UPM.
But that is illegal.
It's actually one of it's actually a violation of the Electoral Act. The money was supposed to come directly to us, but it went through the PDM bank account and then they paid it over to us.
And how was it paid?
They usually do an EFT.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as they receive the money, right now, we are supposed to get 585,000. Mm-hmm. That is per quarter.
Yes.
So for 1 year, I think it came to just over 2.1 or 2.2 million. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have lost that 2.2 million that we were supposed to receive for this financial year because of the fact that PDM's has said, since we are not prepared to back Vanani as presidential candidate, then sorry, you have actually violated an agreement.
So who were the other candidates that wanted to stand?
Actually, there are a lot of presidential candidates.
In that party?
No. The United People's Movement will not contest presidential elections. And also...
No, I mean, when you say one of the reasons you parted ways is because Honorable Vanani wanted you to back him as candidate.
Yes.
Why was this urgency and why did it force you to part ways? Were there other people that also wanted to and in the party?
Yeah, at that time, there was a possibility that they still need to go to the Congress, mm-hmm. and that there was a possibility that another former member of Parliament would have take over the reins of
who is that?
Vipo Muarukwa.
He mentioned that.
And I'm very honest here. If there's anyone to challenge Vanani for position of president, it's Muarukwa.
But did he make it clear that he wanted to run as party president?
He has not made it clear, but we know each other. And whether you like it or not, he is having some support. So this was actually a plan to cut off Muarukwa because he might get my support. Yeah. So the UPM is not prepared to follow any presidential candidate blindly.
Yes.
We have supported Vanani 2019. He got 43,000 votes. The Alliance got 136,000 votes. So there is a clear indication from the Namibians that he is not a preferred candidate. So why should you remain with a candidate that does not have that popularity to become the president? And I believe, and I have said it, that I believe that the race will be between the SWAPO party presidential candidate, whether it will be the current vice president or any other candidate from SWAPO, Dr. Itula and Ali Angula.
So tell me, when you joined the PDM in this alliance, it was also during the time that the late Piet Juniors was still alive, right?
Yes.
Now, when you violated this provision, when you allowed the money to be paid into the PDM account, when you allowed for all of these, these violations, did you consider the fact that the late Juniors might have sold you to PDM that was once his home, political home?
Yeah, at that stage, you know, as a young person, I believe that he had good intentions, and I just realized that there was always a hidden agenda from PDM, because we've just realized that already in 2016, when there was still the DTA, there were some talks to merge the UPM with the DTA. That only came to my attention in March, on the day of the court case. So there were intentions from the PDM to hijack the UPM. And when we decided to go solo or to go with another partner, they have realized that they have failed in capturing the UPM. Yes. And therefore the punishment sort of, because they made it clear that this is because you have decided to support Ali Angula. So there is a clear message to us, and we said we are going to continue supporting Ali Angula. There's no two stories about that.
Now, the other question that also comes to mind is, UPM is a party that was born in Rehoboth that should, one would imagine, push the agenda of the people of that community. It was also influenced a lot by the ratepayers in that community, Ratepayers Association. So why is it that PDM's leader, Vanani, was the one that brought to the table issues that affected the community long after the UPM joined the parliament? Why did UPM not bring the issues of Rehoboth people there?
Yeah, and that is one of the reasons why I said there were some hidden agendas. This thing of you first need to get approval from caucus to move a motion, and there were some other motions that I wanted to move because there was no backing from PDM.
No. I mean now, before you became an alliance, you did not bring issues like the traditional authority, for instance, of the Rehoboth Busters, for instance. You did not bring, I mean, there was a time that you were asked about the plight of the Rehoboth Busters and now some Kubas coming up, and you actually said you don't want to speak about this. And yet Vanani was the one that brought up these issues instead of you when you were not an alliance yet.
Yes. At that stage, there was agreement between the UPM and the Rehoboth Buster Gemeente, the late Captain McNabb, that the UPM will not address issues of traditional issues in Parliament. Even the land issue, it was an agreement between the two, the Rehoboth Buster Gemeente and the UPM, that the UPM will not address.
But how do you reconcile that if that is the very reason you have become a party?
And I in fact afterwards addressed the matter, but unfortunately, you know, the only party that really has supported us was Swano, Honorable Mamberwa, that was in Parliament. He was the only person or only party that has supported us. There was no support from the DTA at that time. So Vanani is the one that brought these things to Parliament. He talked about these things when your caucus wouldn't allow you. Yeah, only after the formation of the alliance.
Yes, which I entirely understand, but why did you allow Vanani to speak on behalf of the Rebot Bastard community, where you now say he doesn't have any influence, yet you didn't speak up? You didn't push any of their concerns in the parliament.
No, I did put the concerns of the Rebot Bastards.
Yes.
But in this case, it was a decision from the management of PDM that you should bring that. Mm-hmm. Even we went to see the captain, the current captain, and he was not in agreement with that. That Vanani should move a motion to speak on behalf of the Rebot Bastard. So
you didn't feel the need, even as a member of parliament, because when you're a member of parliament, at that point you have to speak up. You have to give your opinion.
Yes.
You didn't feel the need to contribute to what he has said, despite you coming from that very community that he's trying to represent in parliament.
No. I did speak on it. If you can recall, when the issue with regard to the genocide was on the table, it was on the floor of the, I was told not to speak, not to contribute on that debate. And that has created tension already. I waited until, I think, the last day of the debate. And then without having the approval of caucus, I stood up and I spoke about how the bastards were affected by genocide and even thereafter. Yeah, he was quite angry about that because there was no approval from caucus to do that. At one stage, I was called in. I was called in by the former chief whip of PDM, I believe on the instruction of the PDM management. So there were we were sort of oppressed. There were some other issues that also came out. But from the side of the UPM, we were saying, let's try just to get through this.
So you were oppressed both by your own caucus, the UPM caucus, and that of the PDM?
No, the PDM. There's no UPM caucus.
So, and then why did you decide to join Ali Angula? What is it in her manifesto that draws you to that party that PDM has not offered?
First of all, Ali Angula is a God-fearing. And she made it clear. She's not ashamed to mention that she is a God-fearing person.
Yeah, Madinda from PDM has also made it very clear that they are God-fearing people.
There is a difference. People pretend to be God-fearing just for certain reasons. Secondly, Ali Angula, being a former deputy ED of Ministry of Finance, she is a chartered accountant, and she does have the ability to move this country in a certain way. I have not, the message that I got from Ali Angula is different from what I have heard from Vanani over this, how many years? There is a total difference. Even if you look at declaration on Tuesday, she was saying that in the first 3 years, she's going to create 500,000 new jobs. Now, a person will ask you, and it's in the newspapers, people were saying it's not possible. But you need to get the whole picture, how she will do it. There is a program that is going to target the currently unemployed youth. They will be job creators themselves. Currently, we are sitting with thousands of VTC graduates that are not employed, that are unemployed.
Can we put this in perspective? You are coming from a community that obviously now also believes, like you, because you are their leader, they believe what you tell them.
Yes.
Are you convinced that the 500,000 jobs will be created? And what is it that convinces you that we will actually see these jobs in the next 3 years? The other thing is, Rebot is a community of builders.
Yes.
The majority of them are unemployed because of the fact that the construction industry is completely collapsed, almost, the domestic one.
Yes.
How are you going to convince those builders that there will be jobs for them, 500,000,
yes,
for them and their children in the next 3 years?
Yeah. what we are saying is that all our people from the building instruction industry, people from the various fields should form not a union, but you should have a database from where you can select people, especially the Hardap region, the Karas region. They should have this database. So when there is, let's say for example, road construction in the Karas region, you will have to go to that database to see these are the people in the Karas region that is experienced in this field, and jobs should be allocated to those people from that specific region. Only if you don't have that expertise in that region, then you should source out to the other regions.
This message has been pushed for the longest time. Why is it going to be different the next 3 years?
There was always the issue of political will. We know how things operate within the system currently. We have just heard that the tender at the Rebo Town Council went to someone in one of the far-off regions. And we know why that happens. This thing of having connections. I am sitting in Rebo, coming from Region A, so I am sourcing out work to my people.
So how isn't a government under Ali Angula and you affiliated with her going to change that? Can you tell me step by step?
First of all, you will see a change of administration. You will see you need to bring in people that will promote your agenda. If a person is not prepared to promote your agenda, you will fail. So get rid of those that has been there for many years, that has captured the system. Get rid of them and bring your people in. Now, it's not going to be easy. And I believe that the first year will be the most difficult part of it. Because you need to start first with changing legislation. If you change the legislation, then you need to have the right people to implement. There is a lot of laws that currently is not benefiting the Namibian on the ground. It only benefits the elite, the high-ranking people. And those laws needs to be changed. So you will have to start with your justice minister your justice minister and your prime minister. I don't know who those people will be from, in the Angula administration. But those two portfolios will play a very, very big role in making sure that she succeeds. She also indicated if she fails to succeed within 3 years, she will resign as president. Now that is none of the current contenders or even the previous presidents has made that commitment. This is a commitment that she has made, that if I fail, I have promised you 500,000 jobs. I have promised that each Namibian will get 1,750 Namibian dollars. People between the ages of 18 and 59. They will get this monthly allowance. If I fail within that 3 years, I will resign.
And where will that money come from?
The money, we should believe that this is a very rich country. If you look at our mining sector, 63% of our exports comes from mining.
Yes.
But mining only contributes 3.9% to GDP. Our local industries contributes 18% to GDP. So that, and we are talking about this. Currently, we are on a 10. Namibia is having a 10% in all mining. We are going to change that. We are talking about a 40 plus 5%. Now that 5% should cater for this project, this 1,750 project. We also believe that, you know, when we are going to change the laws to empower Namibians, you'll receive resistance, not only from the foreign investors, but from your own people, because our own people are so captured. That's why you see, for example, in this mining expedition in the Hardap region, in the Stambri area, you see Namibians coming to the forth to fight for the Russians. Our people are so used to be used by foreign entities to undermine the rights of their own people. And it's only because of the belly. I want to make sure that I am sorted out, no matter what happens to my people.
Now, Honorable Van Wyk, would you not say it was also politics of the belly when you refused to go above what your caucus told you to do in Parliament, to speak about the issues affecting your electorate, your voters? You decided to stay in the bounds of your caucus. Was that also not politics of the belly? Because your people have serious issues in the South. And
yes,
yet you decided you won't speak up. How is it going to be different in the next few years?
You need to understand that, you know, if you address a certain issue, you need to have support within your ranks. If you don't have the support within your ranks, you might only make a mockery of everything. So make sure that you have the support in your own ranks.
When you joined the PDM, things looked rosy at the beginning.
Yes.
Things certainly also look rosy right now, as you've joined Madam Ali Angula. How are you going to make sure you're not going to have the same problems going forward?
We have learned a lot from this relationship with PDM. And I've just told people we were in court for the past few days, and we have learned a lot from there. The most important thing is that you need to have a clean agenda. And I believe that Ali Angula is not having any hidden agendas. I believe that the leadership of the National Empowerment Fighting Corruption is not having any hidden agendas. Leaders need to trust each other. And unfortunately, I cannot say that there was. I have trusted the PDM leadership. I have trusted them actually blindly, and this has caused them to sort of oppress the UPM. And I believe if we had started the fight already in 2020, we would have already separated that, because there was a serious disagreement. But as part of Alliance, we were not, as the UPM, together on what is the next step. And that has actually sort of kept us from coming out in full. So we are looking at our central committee last year, and from that central committee, some other issues came up, and I think we are in the process of now putting that behind us, getting into place a leadership that really would speak to what our people want on the ground.
And do you know what your people want on the ground?
Yes. When the UPM was formed, one of the agendas of the top agenda was first to get Bible studies back into schools. Our land issue, and people don't want me to speak about the rebirth of land issue.
So why are you not speaking?
Because you need to have the support on there's no way for me to go there and to speak about it, but you don't have support in your own ranks. So the support in the ranks should be there to make sure that when you address this issue, you go full out. For us to go and speak about something and just because you don't have the support, you need to leave it. It's not good.
So in other words, so why should I vote for you if I have issues about land, I have issues about, I have serious issues, and your caucus doesn't want you to talk about those issues? And you also won't because your caucus doesn't. So why should I vote for you as a voter?
Yeah. Previously, we had only one member in parliament. With Alliance, we had 2 members. But yeah, we could also not find each other. And that was also because of what happened in 2019. You need to make sure that you have the right candidates.
Are you saying you are not the right candidate because you can't speak out about issues that affect your people?
I'm not saying I'm the right candidate. I'm not saying I'm not the right candidate. It will depend on the team. The players in that team will determine the outcome of any issue that you take to the fore. There was a question about remote representation. And I had a talk with some influential people in Rebov, and I asked them, please, you identify people whom you think can represent Rebov. Identify those people. Let's talk to those people. Let's get those people involved in taking the agenda of the UPM to the table. But you just don't get people they are prepared to, but they don't want to come to the fore to help physically. Now, in fact,
why should they go to the front if you, an elected leader, are not brave enough to speak out about the issues affecting your voters?
As I've said, I'm ready to speak about any issue that affects Rebov and the country, but you need to have the backing. You need to have the support from your own people. If you doesn't have the support from your own people, then you will not make it. And that is unfortunately currently the situation in Rebov. You always have this 3-4 groups. We do have the same problem, but we are working against each other. And it happened. It is happening now in Rebov. It is also a known fact that our younger people doesn't want to be involved in opposition politics. And that has played also a very, very, very big role. And I have told some people that if something happens to me now, do we have someone currently in the ranks that would be able to take over and to go further? Currently, we don't have. I actually, and I've made it already clear that I would not be available for the next elections. When I brought the issue to the Central Committee last year, the Central Committee decided, no, that there is no way that we are going to allow that. You need to continue until such time that we have capable leadership to take over.
So you're saying UPM does not have capable leaders at this point?
We are struggling.
Push the agenda that it needs to push.
We are really struggling. I'm having a handful of people that is currently trying their best, but you don't have experts on certain grounds. And I believe that, identify candidates that has expertise in certain. We need people with financial expertise. We need people in the agriculture sector. We need people in the mining with expertise in those sectors, and send them to Parliament to effectively address issues in those specific sectors.
What is the expertise that you are bringing to Parliament?
I'm a human resource practitioner by profession. I have a little experience in finance, but that is not enough to effectively, bring changes to the current laws. I made my contributions on when it comes to budget, but it stops there because the budget is already decided upon somewhere. It just comes to Parliament just to be rubber stamped.
Mm-hmm.
But even when it comes to we do have a budget committee, but in that budget committee, the only person that is having that capabilities to lead that budget committee and to effectively challenge the current system also resigned. So even the budget committee currently, having all these people, does not have the expertise to effectively address that issue. So I rely on the experience that I'm having in the human resources field, and mostly on when it comes to labor issues and so on.
We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Say goodbye summer and hello savings with WB. Buy 2 liters Sunpick cooking oil for $64.99. 5 kg Sugar King white sugar for $87.99. 2 kg Nam milk or Maire for only $43.99 each. Huggies Dry Comfort jumbo packs for $199.99 each. And a pack of 8 1-ply Twin Saver toilet rolls for $42.99. Stay updated with the latest deals and more at www.vurmanbrock.com.
Welcome back. Now, if you've just joined us, I am Jemima Beekes, your host this evening. On the agenda, we have still in studio Mr. Jan van Wyk, former member of Parliament, was recently kicked out by the Popular Democratic Movement, with whom they have had an alliance, and he's talking to us about how the alliance started, how it ended, and the way forward for the United People's Movement. Before we went on a break, you were talking about the lack of capacity in the party structures. Now, can you tell us, going forward, what is the UPM's plan going forward? And you've mentioned just 2 manifesto items of the party of Madam Ali Angula, and that is bringing the Bibles back into school and creating the 500,000 jobs. What are the other issues that you align with, that the UPM aligns with?
Yes, our belief is that all Namibians should benefit. In lay English, we are saying that all of us must eat from the cake. For the past 34 years, the grassroots people, majority of the people on the ground, has not benefited in any way. Now, our question was, we are sitting with a very high unemployment rate. Not only the youth, but you are having also a very high level of unemployment between the ages of 35 to 59. Now that sector is, or that age group is totally excluded from any efforts to turn around the lifestyle of Namibians. And I was from the start a supporter of the basic income grant, and I spoke about it in Parliament several times. And from the side of the UPM, we were saying that we need to introduce a basic income grant. Now, but as I have said, not having, that capacity to drive this. When Madam Ali came in, she came. We had a discussion around it, and we also had a discussion with the leadership that is currently driving this basic income grant in some areas. And after that, we had another meeting to discuss to see how we should incorporate that into what we are planning. And we initially the thinking was that we should start with a person immediately when that person is born. That person should get a certain grant. Currently, you are having a situation where you have single mothers trying to cope. Now, when a child is born from the date of birth until the age of 5, you need to really take proper care of that child. That child needs to get certain types of food, certain types of treatment, and of course, after a certain age, you need to prepare that child for pre-primary school and so on. Currently, there's nothing in the system that supports families from birth. To help families from the birth of a child, to take that child to the next stage, and from there to the next stage. So we were saying that let's bring something into place to develop the next generation from the moment of birth. But then we realized it will not be practical because of various reasons. So we shifted our thinking to, let's look at the people 18 years, age group 18 years to 59 years. If we can come up with something to sort of sustain a person, something to sustain a household, and take also the burden of our pensioners. Currently, what happens currently is that we bring our children to our parents. So the grandparents are taking care of our children. If that grandparents are no more there, those children are left for, they don't have any care. Now, what we were saying is, if you support a child, even if that child reaches the age of 18 years, you should still get that support. Mm-hmm. If that child decides not to use that support to his own benefit, that is up to him or her. But you will find people that really appreciate that little help and create jobs for themselves. And we see it on the streets. People are really trying, but they don't have that support. So if I'm selling my sweets on the streets and I'm getting, in addition to that, a $1,700, I will appreciate that, and I will do more, and I will do better. So you'll have some problems within the system, but you'll also have some success stories. Now, what we were saying is that at least in the first 18 months, the system should identify success stories from that program, and see how you can continue with that success stories to sort of get people, because we have unfortunately in Namibia this generational poverty. Because my father was a bricklayer, I also need to become a bricklayer, and because of that, my child also becomes a bricklayer. We need to move away from that mentality. And I have spoken to people from various backgrounds, And what I have realized, and I have shared this with the people, that I have realized that we as parents, we are actually responsible for the failure of our children. As a parent, we need to educate our parents that as a parent, it is my responsibility to make sure that my child goes to school. We do have a youth dropout.
So how will your alliance with with Honorable, Madam Ali Angula, how will that help children to get into school? And then our biggest problem at this point is the drought. What is your plan to address the drought?
Yeah, we believe, and I know that people will not be happy with what I'm saying. I'm going to say is that we still believe in a federal system. Now, what from the side of the UPM, what we are saying is that yes, we are in a different system. We need to get our structures in the regions, in the constituencies, to a certain level, to influence decision making from national government to regional government. Not per se, to take over, but to influence. And in order for us to influence decision making, you need to have indigenous peoples in certain positions. So what we are doing is to identify indigenous peoples in the regions.
Do you have indigenous peoples in your party right now? Do you have people from the San community in your parties? How many?
We do have, actually, to be honest with you, 3 branches consisting of 4 leaders in the Omeka region.
Mm-hmm.
The experience here is that these people, after they have decided to join our ranks, they are so much oppressed. I received a call yesterday from one of the chiefs. They wanted me to go down to that side, if possible, tomorrow or, as soon as possible. We identified at least 3 people from that area that we really can consider to put on the list for the National Assembly. But they have been victimized to such an extent now that I don't know whether they will really take that risk. I still need to talk to them and to see whether they will take up that. So and also there is another issue that we need to address, and that is our education. We do have serious questions about indigenous people, minority groups, being excluded from by the system. Mm-hmm. And I have said it before, we are not marking papers anymore. We are marking surnames. And by doing that, our minority groups, our indigenous peoples, are sort of oppressed. Because I do have a serious issue with our, when you receive your grade 12 or grade 11 results, then you'll see that the previous and the Karas and Hardap regions were some of the top performers before independence. And now they are down the list for one other reason. And We need to seriously investigate that part to see whether the system really is fair. And as I've said, I'm quite convinced that we are not marking papers. We are marking surnames. The thinking is to have expertise to really go into that and see how we can change the educational system. And of course, another one that we very much agreed upon is with Ms. Ali is agriculture. The land issue. I was fortunate to be part of a team that had visited some regions to look at resettlement farms. And before that, my understanding was that resettlement has failed totally. But during that visits, it actually came out that yes, there are success stories. There are failures. But the failures are not because of the person not being up to farming. It's because of the system that fails these poor people. You cannot allocate land to Jan van Wyk if Jan van Wyk does not have the financial means to really take that farm to the next level. So we agreed on that. Our resettlement program needs to be attended to. We agreed that our budget allocation to the Ministry of Agriculture is, we need to increase that at least to 10% of the national budget to start off. What we are saying is that this is a dry country. We do have a drought right now. But if we go back in history, you'll see that the 1933 drought is apparently one of the worst droughts that this country has ever experienced. But from 1933 until now, nothing was done. We need to harvest water. So we need to look at programs to harvest water in areas. When you receive rain, you need to harvest that water. But also, we need to look at our underground water. Now we know that we do have some good underground water in some areas. We are planning to have a program to really use that underground water to the benefit of the people.
What is this program?
Currently, there is a program in the Ministry of Agriculture that is responsible to provide water to communities. Mm-hmm. And what we are saying is that we call it a piping program, mm-hmm. where you have, let's say, a reservoir at this place here, and you have your communities. How will you take that water to the communities? Currently, government is not able to do that effectively. And believe it or not, our people in the rural areas are prepared to take this water from here to there. Now, if you have a settlement, and I am the first house from the reservoir, I take the water from here to there, to my house. And from there, the next person can take it from there to his house. And we call it a piping program. To make sure that we give water, drinking water, to all of our people. But then we need to develop these reservoirs, in certain areas. So the thinking is of getting that water from underneath to these reservoirs. Reservoirs, the underground water aquifers, Wangwena, and there's one in Stambrid. this program or exploitation that I'm currently busy with is going to contaminate that water to such an extent that generations to come will not have water. And that is one of the programs that we that we agree to attend immediately if Ali gets into office. Whether it's going to cause us court cases or what, that is going to stop. There are some other underground aquifers that our old people know of. There were talks that there is a possibility of pumping water from the mine, Swartmotor mine, to this new mine that is now 60 kilometers from Rehoboth. And there are some other very, very strong aquifers that is just there, but there are no plans currently to get the water out of the ground. Then, of course, we are sitting with the ocean. We need to make use of that ocean, water from the ocean. The only problem that we foresee is that we do have a lack of expertise in the various fields. Now there was a program that was supposed to empower Namibians, and they called it the understudies. But this program has also failed. And I've seen it in the diamond polishing industry. You are getting these experts in. They are there getting huge salaries. You're having this expertise that is getting nothing almost. And when these people move up, nothing changes. Now these people are headhunted by other companies, and everything fails. And then you have to start again, getting an understudy, bring it to that level, the person is leaving. So there's nothing in place to really, not to keep that person there, but to make sure that that person, he underwent this 4 years in training, and that at least for 3 years, plow back. But there's nothing to really make sure that that person plow back. If the person reaches that level, and you have to start again. So those are some of the things that we are looking at.
So, Mr. Van Wyk, in conclusion, can you just sum up for us the future for the UPM going into the campaign season?
Yes. Right now, and we have explained to our structures that this is not the end of the road for the UPM. In fact, the case was only thrown out of court because of urgency. And our lawyers are currently looking at the possibilities. So that is not the end of the road. But in the meantime, we need to get our structures in place, and we need to carry the message that yes, the UPM is still alive. We will continue, with or without money. And of course, we need to take on board our partners. We are having KG Namibia, we are having Youth Power, we are having NEFC. So we need to mobilize as one. Our only challenge currently is that we are still waiting on the ECN to approve our submission for formation of a new alliance. We had to make amendments after this happened, and that's why I'm saying we have learned actually a lot. So after this PDM-UPM fight, we have actually learned that you need to do it this way. So we had to submit amendments to our first document. So we are waiting for ECN now to respond to that in order for us to have approval, so to speak, because the logo that is displaying on his T-shirt was only recently approved. We were not even aware that it was not approved of ECN. And fortunately, they informed us that you are violating the laws of the country. So that was now sort of approved, but we need to have the logo, the alliance logo, approved before we can go out. And not before, in the meantime we can go out, but to tell people that this is the logo that you are going to
Yes.
vote for.
Okay.
Yeah. So all is not lost for the UPM. In fact, I think we got very, very positive feedbacks, even from the newspaper articles from yesterday. Yeah. So we are moving forward. We don't have money, but we have God, and that is important to us.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Van Wyk. Have a
No,
good
it's a
night.
pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in once again. Until next Sunday.